Well, yeah. So here's the deal. I have what I think I've looked for a long, long time for the ideal studio camera. And I think after a year of using it, that I really have found it. And I want to tell you guys all about it today. So hold that thought, and I'll be back in 4 or 5 minutes. If you're watching this after the fact, feel free to fast forward.
We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. A custom built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With tech support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our P's adventure. The future is bright. Lights, camera, action, the stage is set. From podcasts to webinars, we're never upset. Tech at our fingertips, the power so real. Loading up the content, let the viewers feel. Building connections, we're breaking the mold. Every frame a story, every tale told. In this vibrant world, we're living with flair. Streaming idiots unite, let's take it from streaming idiots. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. Living the dream. We take support in the mix. We're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man. Tom Sinclair's the man, bringing us live in our vMix adventure. The future is bright. We got tips and tricks all wrapped in a show. In our extra fun, let the good times flow. From sports to the arts, we're taking the lead. With vMix by our side, there's nothing we need. Troubleshooting smoothly, no hassle or fuss. In the world of tech, we're igniting the buzz. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our favorite adventure. The future is bright. So here's to the journey. Let's raise a toast for Tom Sinclair and the team we love most. Streaming idiots, forever we're ruling the scene. With vMix and support, here living the dream. We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. A custom built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With tech support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our P's adventure. The future is bright. Lights, camera, action, the stage is set. From podcasts to webinars, we're never upset. Tech at our fingertips, the power so real. Loading up the content, let the viewers feel. Building connections, we're breaking the mold. Every frame a story, every tale told. In this vibrant world, we're living with flair. Streaming idiots unite, let's take it from streaming idiots. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. Living the dream. We take support in the mix. We're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man. Tom Sinclair's the man, bringing us live in our vMix adventure. The future is bright. We got tips and tricks all wrapped in a show. In our extra fun, let the good times flow. From sports to the arts, we're taking the lead. With vMix by our side, there's nothing we need. Troubleshooting smoothly, no hassle or fuss. In the world of tech, we're igniting the buzz. and the team we love more. Streaming idiots forever, we're ruling the scene. With vMix and support, here living the dream. We're the streaming idiots.
Oh, that song just makes me chuckle. It just, and how easy is that stuff to do? Just, throw a few words in there and boom, you got a song. Yeah, oh, throw a few words in and then pick out a genre of music. And I think that was supposed to be like lively or something like that. Anyway, so I hope my audio is better. Jesper, thanks for pointing that out. Funny thing, what a difference like an inch can make. So I had the mic like level with right there, the top of the mic, and I moved it down an inch. And I think that really made a difference in the volume. I didn't change a volume anywhere. Didn't change the volume anywhere. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun stuff. That's fun stuff. Are you the only one that sees the lower third jumping when progressing? I saw that too. I'm not sure what the deal is. I may have accidentally done something to make it not smooth. I mean, the render time here is like 4 milliseconds. Total CPU is like 15%. Recording will be streaming streaming will be recording in just a minute. Let's just take a look at that real quick. That is in the pre-show, post-show. And it's a lot of text, but I don't think that matters. I did play around with the color a little bit on it. Let's try that. That doesn't make any difference, does it? Still kind of jerky. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes it's smooth as silk. But let's check one other thing. Layers, positions, layers, main. I haven't done anything on the positions there, so that's okay. Let's go here in this one. Layers. I know you can't see, but just bear with me just a second. And I'm going to reset this, which moves it. Yeah, that didn't make any difference either. So go figure. Gee whiz. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a bug. Could it be a bug? Let's call it a bug. Let's call it a bug. I'll work on it some more and see if we can't get it figured out. John's here. Welcome, sir. Glad you're here. Yes, I did. I upgraded to .44 this morning. You think that could be the difference? We could go back to .41, but not while we're live, obviously. So, yeah, interesting. And the list that's going on through there, well, yeah, there's .44. Just came out like 6 hours ago. So not sure what might have changed that. We'll see. I'll revert back to .41 after the show and see if it makes any difference, because I see it here and I saw it even before I started streaming. So the PC wasn't under any, big load. Not that it's ever under any big load. I guess the other change I made is I changed the resolution on the camera. So yeah, it was crazy. I'll get into it when we get into the show. It was, the mistakes you make increases your knowledge and your wisdom not to make the same mistakes again. Just make different ones. Good question, Michael. Michael gets the gold star for today. So today's show is going to be fun, especially if you are working with a home studio or a podcasting studio or a small studio where you don't have a lot of personnel. So this is which is exactly what this studio is. You know, there's not like there's somebody back there behind the camera, and it saves me. Can't get into the show. Can't get into the show yet. But you knew what I was going to say. We may have discovered a new bug. But before we do anything else crazy like that, I'm going to restart this PC. It hasn't been restarted in weeks, maybe. So it's probably a good idea to restart it periodically. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, every now and then we get lucky. We'll get lucky with something. What was I going to say? Something I was going to say. Oh, we've got a lot going on in the studio this week. We are building 6 different systems. And so different ones are in different stages of completion. The one behind me, let's see if I can move out of the way for that one. Yep, this little guy right here is 99% complete. Got to put a vMix license on it and tweak Windows a little bit, but it's almost ready to go. And then its twin is right over there, and that one I haven't even started on yet. But it doesn't take that long. You know what takes longest? Double checking everything. Going back through and making sure that all the settings are exactly the way I want them to be. Yeah. For those of you that are building PCs on a regular basis, for the longest time, I created every PC from scratch. And finally, I think I had an order for 6 systems that were all identical. And I said, you know, it's foolish of me to recreate this 6 times. So I made one, and then I cloned the drive, and that worked like a dream. So now I have about 6 what I call masters for different motherboard CPU combinations. And occasionally I have to go in and update the masters when some drivers changes. I have to update the master now on the vMix 44.44. But yeah. Well, let's get the show on the road, shall we? Let's do it. Yeah, baby. We're ready. We're ready. First show of 2026. How about that? Yes, indeedy. I don't know if you caught last week's show, the last week show of 2025. Hey, Giles, glad to have you. Glad you could make it. 2026, starting out with I won't say it's a new product review. It's sort of an old product review. And this is that camera right there. And that camera right there is a PTZ Optics Move 4K 12x zoom. So the smallest of the zooms that PTZ Optics has. You've got the 12x, you've got the 20x, and you've got the 30x. And in the Move 4K line, the 30x is actually a physically larger camera, but they're all 4K. This one is 4K. We're not shooting 4K today. We're at 1080p 60. And I wanted to share with you my evaluation of this camera after having used it for a year. You get a lot of evaluations of people they're evaluating or reviewing a new product that just came out. Well, what do you know about a new product that just came out? You know what's on the spec sheet. You know what the manufacturer says, hey, these are the features. But do the features work? Or do they work correctly? Or do they work in a variety of cases? Having had this camera for a year, I can tell you now, it is a good camera. It's not perfect, but it's probably the best I've used. Now, I'm a budget conscious kind of guy, so I'm not going to go out and spend $3,000 on a camera for the studio here. It just doesn't make sense. But I will spend half that and be really, really happy. Let's see, we got here is the camera. This is an overhead shot from our drone. Just teasing, no drone. And it is a lot of fun. It's got PoE. That's the you can't really see it, but there's a white well, hold on a second. I've got a camera right here. Here we go. It has got it's got PoE. That's the flashing light. Next to the left of it, it's got 12-volt DC, of course. But the PoE, and I think it might be PoE plus. I'll have to check the specs to know for sure. But it of course provides power. It sends me signal. You can see there the black cable plugged in. That's the HDMI. Excuse me. That's the SDI, and that is just there for testing. When I build a new system and I want to check the SDI inputs, I'll use this camera just because it's there and kind of looking good. The other things of interest there is a USB 2.0, which I've never used. Never had an occasion to use it. Don't know why I would. Probably something to do with upgrading. The line in and line out in the top left-hand corner are audio. Never used those. The system select and the little blue and yellow button, that allows me to hardware select the resolution, which I have set at, I need to go back and check and see what that is. It's set on A. What is A? I don't remember what A is. The RS485 and the RS232s, never used. Never used. I'm using NDI, so I don't need to have those types of connections in order to control the camera. And then HDMI, and then the restore button. Actually, I used the restore button this morning because I screwed up a setting, and I'll show you what I did on that. Now, noteworthy, the SDI connection is only 1080p. This is a 4K camera, but you can't get 4K out of it over SDI. You can get 4K out of it over HDMI and NDI. So yeah. And there's the little baby right there looking up at you, having fun. One of the interesting things about this camera as it resets, and let's see if we can do a reset here. Just real quickly. Can we do that from where we are? Come on, Tom. You're a smart guy. You can do this stuff. Don't tell me I can't do it. Well, oh well. Yep. We'll do it in a minute, but I just wanted to show you how it did its little dance as it checks its motors to make sure that its left and right motors are good and its up and down motors are good. I guess that's the same motor, left, right. And then you can see right down inside the lens will actually, the zoom inside there will actually mechanically operate and going in and out. So it does those three motions, left, right, up, down, and lens in, out, before it provides a picture of any kind. So yeah, there we go. So we're back to here. So I was stealing the camera just to give you a look at it. The other thing that's kind of interesting on the front of it, can we see it from there? Yeah, you can see a little blue light in that black band that runs across the front of the camera. You can see a blue light, and you can't see the tally light, which is right on top of the camera. In fact, let me switch to that camera again for just a second, and we will. I'll show you the tally. and we'll see if, can you see the red tally? Not really. Yeah. I guess you can see it a little bit on top. That tells you, I don't even know if I guess I've got the tally lights on. Okay, there we go. So we'll go back. Where are we here? Let's go here and there. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So the fun part about this camera, I think, is the interface, and that is this interface right here. And let me refresh this. And oh, I'm already logged in, so I guess I can't show you how to log in. Anyway, it's not a big deal to log in. This is the dashboard. We've got the video configuration menus. We've got network settings, and we've got camera configuration menus. So let's take a look at this one first. Video config, audio and video. This is where I can set the HDMI or SDI ports. Can't use them simultaneously or interchangeably in that sense. Here is where I can set the resolution of the camera. Currently I've got it set at 1080p. My other choices are a lower resolution or a higher resolution. The interesting thing about the 4K resolution is that, in fact, we can change it because we're not really going to change it live, is it only goes up to 30 frames a second. What we're shooting at right now, 1920 by 1080, is going to give us 60 frames a second. So there is that. And it puts in what it thinks is a suitable bit rate. You see it's at 4096 right now. When we go to 60 frames a second, it doubles it to 8142, which is exactly twice as much. Interesting thing to note too is that constant bit rate is going to be preferred over the variable bit rate. We do have a second stream that we can use. This one is currently set at a low resolution. Don't even use it. Not even sure if it's doing anything. And I can change my audio codecs and my audio settings on there. So not a big deal. Streaming settings is kind of interesting, I think, because it allows me to stream. I can stream to YouTube right now with the URL and the stream key, and away we go. And here's where that second low quality feed would be. I can also do SRT, which is pretty good. So I can throw this camera out in the field, PoE, and turn it on, and it's ready to, it's going to start sending right now. So we can turn it on. We can have a choice of caller or listener mode, etc. Let's don't do that because we're not going to do that right now. We can do RTSP. We've got multicast. We've got OnVIF. Not sure what those really mean. Never used them. When we go over to NDI, again, we've got just sort of settings for NDI, not really configuring anything. And then network settings allow us to determine, what the address of the camera is. And this is kind of interesting. It used to be with this camera that if you defaulted to the factory setting, it would default the IP address. Now, I found out this morning in playing with it that it doesn't default to the default IP address. The default IP address is 192.168.100.88, or maybe it was 88.100. Whatever it wasn't my network, and so you always had to go in and change your network to get access to the camera, to change the IP configuration to either a fixed IP address or DHCP. And so, delighted to find out that they've, added that element of polish to it. So if you're setting it up for the first time, or if you're putting it on a new network, moving it to a location, putting it on the network that's there, that you'll have a much easier time reconfiguring the camera. So really, really excited about that. And really excited about that because as somebody that supports people that are using this camera, when you make the camera more user-friendly like this, those of us that do support, we provide less support. Okay, so camera configurations, we've got profile settings. And this is interesting because this screwed me up this morning. We can name it, we can call it, we've got all sorts of ways to do it. And we can save our current settings as a profile. And currently they have got three I guess you would call them custom or custom default profiles. And those are also available down here. And I thought this morning, I said, oh, well, let's go with the studio profile. Yeah, that's good. Let's do that. Well, I went with the studio profile, and it was horrible for me in this setting. Very blotchy. The resolution went low. And I don't want to change it into that, but I would like to go back and check and see, with the studio profile, just what is it changing? I'd like to do my own studio profile and replace it with that one. We've also got a low light profile or an outdoor profile. Think, low light, high light, and then studio is kind of mid light. So not sure about that one. Let's see, let's go device info. This is just the stuff that PTZ Optics knows about the camera. And then system settings allows us to do a variety of things like change what channel we are on the remote, reset your password, check for firmware. This is kind of nice too, because somebody can just check for firmware. It goes online, it checks the firmware against what the current firmware is, and it says, well, you're up to date, so you're good to go. In fact, I was about ready to update the firmware this morning. And here's a restore default setting, which resets the non-network setting to factory default. And the advanced one down here allows you to select a file if you end up downloading firmware up here, you can select it and redo it here. Focus calibration and reset defaults. I think I did a factory reset earlier, and that's when I was surprised that the IP address did not change. Go back to the dashboard for just a second. I did notice that the image here in the dashboard has more latency in it than my image over NDI. So this is about 50 milliseconds down in the bottom right-hand corner. And so I guess the big picture has got to be, maybe 100 milliseconds, something like that. I don't know how it's getting the image there. Is this an IP image, i.e. non-NDI? Don't know. Here in the dashboard, though, we do have some camera controls. We can pan and tilt. We can do focus. We can set 10 presets here. Actually, 254 presets. Is it 250? Yeah, 255 presets, because 0 is considered a preset. Interesting. If you need the camera when it's turned on for the first time to go to a particular location, as opposed to just the home, which is right in the middle, up and down, you can set preset 0, and so when you turn the camera on, it will go to that position. That's pretty cool. I like that. I had to use that a couple of years ago for a client that was a school board and wanted to live stream their school board meetings, and so we connected the camera so that it would live stream. And we connected, we did the preset 0 so that it would focus and pan and focus in the right place. And then they just hooked audio in it, and it was the funnest thing. We didn't do PoE. We did strictly Ethernet, and we had the power attached to a light switch. And the light switch was attached to turn the camera on, and it was also attached to a light in the boardroom that said, live or online or whatever it said. And so when you flip the light switch, it turned the camera on, it started streaming, it started receiving the audio, and it also turned on this light so people would know it was live. I thought that was a little fun project. Had fun with that one. And the other menus we have here govern the speed. How quickly does it pan, does it tilt, does it zoom, and does it focus? On the image-wise, We've got all of our our basic image expectations. It's got the exposure mode, which we can change. We can change exposure to manual. We can set it really, really high speed here. We can change the shutter to very quickly. Obviously, we wouldn't want to change it. Too much lower. Probably not very high either. I have used the default settings here. Haven't done anything with the white balance. You can see it's tweaked it a little bit. Focus and then advanced allows us to flip the camera upside down automatically, that kind of thing. Black and white mode, that's interesting. Preview window settings. So that's this window right up here in the top left corner. And that is Stream 2. Let's go back and look at Stream 2 just out of curiosity. Stream 2 is 30 frames a second, bit rate of 640, resolution of 720 by 480, constant bit rate, 30 keyframes. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Not terribly complicated at first glance, but like all good things, you can get into the nitty-gritty. You can get into the details if you want to or need to. And you've got the factory default button if you get into the nitty-gritty and you screw it up. One of the other things I like about this camera is it is about 5 feet from me. You can see how big my hand gets when I get close to it. It's about 5 feet from me, and it's on the other side of my studio desk here. Let's see if we can back out and show you a little bit of that. There we go. Don't pay no attention to the mess. Pay no attention to the mess. But that's where I am in relation to the camera, about 5 feet. And it will focus very nicely at 5 feet. Yeah, let's see. Let's go back here for a second. Oh, you weren't even seeing any of that. Let me do that again. My bad. Gee whiz. Just because I can see it doesn't mean that we all can see it. Let's try that one again. All right. So that is the camera looking over my monitors at me. That's me right here. So it's close, but it also it's far away. It means that I've got to be able to get up. If I want to go manually adjust this camera for some reason, I've got to be able to get up and walk around, dodge all those cables and cords, and make an adjustment to the camera. Now, the one adjustment that the camera doesn't make is its height. I do have to physically go and change that. And I think I've got it a tad too high right now. My rule of thumb is that the camera should be even with my eyeball. And I'm a little low. Maybe it's my chair. There we go. That's better. Now I have to adjust the camera to meet my new height. So forgive me just 1 second. There we go. There we go. Now we're seeing eyeball to eyeball. That's good. I like that. The biggest, most beautiful benefit, I think, of a PTZ camera as a studio camera is that it gives you the ability to control your camera from where you are. How many times in the good old days was I using a fixed camera and I would have to prop up something on the back of my chair here that would approximate my head, and then go adjust the camera, and then come back and look at it until I finally got smart enough and said, put up a second monitor so I could see what I was doing, but I still wasn't in my chair. Now I can be in my chair, and I can make all the adjustments I need. I can make sure that the focus is correct. In this case, there's a little bit of blurriness in the background, but not a lot. So yeah, let's merge that in. There we go. So, and you can tell when I move the camera, it also moved the background off a little bit. So I am thoroughly pleased with this camera. If I were shopping for a second, if I were designing a studio for you, I would pick this camera. I think the lenses are good. The mechanics are good. The warranty, I think it's got a 5-year warranty. And you think, something that's got at least 3 motors in it. It's got a pan motor, it's got a tilt motor, and then it's got a zoom motor. All those are mechanical functions. So you would think that they would have really good ones if they're going to warranty it for 5 years. NDI-HX means that it's low bandwidth NDI. It requires a little extra horsepower on the vMix end to kind of, what would you call that? Decode it, uncompress it, so that vMix can process it. But if you've got enough horsepower, that's not a problem. We're working with an old i9 on this system, and so we're cruising right now. We're streaming and recording. Streaming at 1080p 60, recording 1080p 60. The render time is 5 milliseconds, and the total CPU is 15%. Now, there's not a lot of movement. There's not a lot going on. We're not asking the system to do a whole lot. A lot of the pixels behind me are not changing, but still, everything is copacetic, and we're just gliding. We're just gliding. Couldn't be more pleased with it. Really, I give it my highest recommendation. PTZ Optics Move 4K, not Move SE. SE is their standard edition, SE standard edition, which maxes out at 1080p. But this is the Move 4K. This is the 12X. It comes in white, it comes in gray, but if you're using it in a studio, who cares? It doesn't make any difference. And I bet you could even paint it if you were careful. Paint it black. It doesn't come in black. Anyway, that's the deal. That's the deal. You got questions? You want to get one? Our website is still not up. We're still working on it. So if you're interested in one, just shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and I can send you all the information, pricing information. We're a few dollars cheaper than what you'll see it generally listed for other places, but that's just so, so we can give you a little extra something. And there's no shipping, and there's free tech support. But yeah, and we've had quite a few folks over the years, dozens and dozens, buy these as part of a bigger system, vMix system with 3 cameras. Not necessarily this particular camera, but other PTZ Optics cameras. We find them to be reliable and very serviceable. Are they perfect? No. Is the lens, a Canon lens? No, it's not. Is a sensor a Sony sensor? I don't think it is. But in live streaming, the live stream butchers it so badly, the resolution, that you're not getting what you pay for in that sense. Anyway, let's flip over to the to what do we call it? We call it the post show, and we'll be right back. And we'll be right back. Yeah. I think we got this right. Hold on, we'll find out. No, we don't have it right. Let's see, let's go here. Let's go here. What did we do? We did something wrong. Well, let's try this. That's almost it. There we go. So sooner or later we have to fix that. We have to fix that. What can I say? Holy cow. So, Happy New Year, Giles and Otis. And John sees it too. Yeah, great question, Michael. I think the Bird Dog might be a superior camera so far as cameras are concerned. I think the sensor is a higher quality sensor. I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing the lenses might be higher quality lenses. The motors might be higher quality. Don't know. Could be all the same. I know that Bird Dog switched camera manufacturers. Bird Dog doesn't manufacture their own cameras. They have a camera company. Used to be Bolin, and then they moved on to somebody else. Don't remember who it is, the new camera manufacturer. And one of the criticisms all along the line was that Bird Dog would release a product that wasn't fully baked. And so it required firmware updates to enable or fix all the features. And, you know, I'm okay with that as a user. As a vendor, I hated to sell something to my customer that wasn't everything that it was cracked out to be. So there was that. And I haven't had any Bird Dog experience, I guess, maybe in the last year. So I can't speak to the specific offering right now. I do know that the Bird Dogs, if I were in a situation to sell, let's say, a church, a vMix system and some PTZ cameras, I'd choose the PTZ Optics cameras because they were a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more bulletproof. In situations where I knew we did a performing arts theater, and brand new performing arts theater, and we were putting in the initial equipment, and we picked the Bird Dogs because we knew they would have the skill to be able to take advantage of the features in the Bird Dogs that required skill to take advantage of. And so that was the plan. But that's old news, Michael. That's not new news. I can't tell you anything about the latest Bird Dog offering. However, I would tell you, if I were to choose a studio camera again, I would choose this exact camera. But I tend to be a creature of habit. You know, I drive the same way to the grocery store every single time. I don't want to try a new way to the grocery store because I know the old way works. You know, when I go out to dinner once every 3 months or whatever it is, every 4 months to Texas Roadhouse, I order the exact same meal each time because I know what to expect, and I know I'm going to get what I want. Whereas, ordering something new off the menu, that's always scary for me. Holy cow. I am not an adventurer in that sense. Now, going on holiday, I'll be an adventurer. I'll try something new and different there. But not with my stomach and not with my studio camera. So, yeah, there we go. Hey, Clint, how are you? It's good to hear you. Good to see your text. I guess we could put it. Are you still active? Are you still a camera op, as whatever it was you guys would call it? I've been meaning to reach out to you and see if you were interested in working with me on putting together a workshop for high schoolers that are doing cameras in their school sports department's live streams, mostly football, but I think basketball too. Anyway, I'll shoot you an email on that one, and maybe we can get together on that. Let's see. If allowed, tell him a thumbs up for Tim and his show One Man Streams on YouTube. He made a mixed studio production console overlay. I saw that. Yeah, Tim was kind of interesting. He just sort of plopped down into the middle of the Streaming Idiots page and started posting a bunch of stuff about his stream and about his products. And I kindly asked him not to do that, and I guess he took offense and disappeared, at least from the Streaming Idiots side. So I kind of keep an eye on what he's doing because it crosses my path in some of the other groups that he and I are both in. But I did see that studio production console overlay. You know, I guess the more experience you have with vMix, the more you just do what you need to do, and you don't require, you know, kind of training wheels to do it. So that's been my opinion all along. Although I would like to see vMix put training wheels on a green room. That would be nice. All right, Clint is still at it. Good deal. Good deal. Glad to see you. I mean, glad to know that. How difficult can being a camera operator be? Actually, I think it's probably incredibly difficult. It's not difficult for 5 minutes, but for 3 hours, it's a different story. I remember when we were doing the live stream here 12, 15 years ago, we had high school students, and we would rotate them, you know, off the cameras every quarter well, actually, it was at the half of the soccer match. And so we would move them off the camera onto something else, or from something else onto the camera for the second half, because I think it was pretty physically exhausting, and to focus, and as a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old to focus on what's going on in the action. And for kids that didn't know the sport, it was even more difficult. More difficult. Michael Quist would like to see a standard 4 to 8 camera green room with guest setup. Well, I like the quotes on standard. Yeah, indeed. I would like to see that too. I guess you could do it standard, have a 4, a 6, and an 8, and you choose which one you want. And you choose your camera sources and your audio sources, and then the vMix green room feature takes care of what would it take care of? It would take care of the mix minus for all the participants. It would take care of keeping them on a back channel, you know, one of your audio channels that was not the main. Yeah, I think it's a great feature. I would love something like that. And if I were a remote producer, and I've got a lot of friends / clients that are remote producers that struggle with the mechanics of setting up all the necessary shortcuts to make that work. You know, that's just it's a bridge too far for a lot of them. It's all they can do to keep up with the physics of switching cameras and interacting before and after a show with the guests and the hosts and all that kind of thing. And these people or the ones I'm thinking about, are kind of producers / technical staff, TDs. Yeah. I won't say I feel your pain because I know I don't, but, and I won't say I can imagine it because I really can't, but the last hour, which of course in a close game is the most important time, would be the toughest. That's where the real pros show off their ability to continue to focus after that period of time. Yeah, holy cow. For each football match in 2025 I streamed, I had to fast train the new young camera op how to do it and then fine tune in production. Yes, yes, yes. And what I found in doing that, and this again was years ago, is that I gave them specific tasks that that I think really helped them focus. For example, we were running a 2-camera shoot, and on a corner kick, one of the camera operators was responsible for the kick, for whoever was making the corner kick, and kind of the, up to 10 yards away where the defenders were stationed, was responsible for that, but was not expected to follow the ball in towards the goal. And the second camera operator was at the goal, kind of a goal width plus maybe 5 yards, so that if something happened in that goal area, that we could get it. And so it was camera A was on the goal kick, at the corner, the corner kick, and then we made a transition, a hard cut to camera B for the action in front of the goal. And then, in a kickoff, for example, one person was focused very tightly in on the center of the field where the kickoff occurred, and that was camera A. Camera B was zoomed out, about the width or more of the full circle, probably more than that. And then camera B had the wide shot. I said, keep a third of the field in view all the time, from left to right, all the way back up and down the field. And then camera A would be the hero cam, and they would follow the ball, or if there was a particular player that was pretty noteworthy, they would follow that person, and we might cut to it, but we certainly would use it for replay. And it really helped them to have that kind of direction. I see a lot of live streams where, and I'm thinking of high school. I'm not thinking of anything on Cliff's level or anywhere close to it, but where the camera operators really don't have any direction, and so they are just, they're just doing whatever they think is right, and so they end up doing the same thing. And in others, I was watching a replay of one the other day, and it was like, okay, there's this much field and there's this much action. Like, okay, we got to find a little bit better compromise there. And then other ones where they wanted to, the punter was punting and they wanted to follow the ball through the air, and Clint, do you follow the ball through the air on the live shot? No, you might knowing that you're a replay guy, but yeah. Hello, Ed. Hello, Ed. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Good to see you. Glad to have you. So, a new year. A new year. I like New Year's because it's kind of it's totally artificial, of course. Totally artificial. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. But it's a good chance to say, okay, close out the old one, push all that stuff away, forget it, and move forward to the new year. And start fresh. Do all the things that you intended to do last year that you never did, and think up a whole new list. Welcome, pool player. Sorry, glad to have you. Yeah, and Michael, we were doing the soccer way back when with no intercom. I'd have a runner, and I would tell the runner, say, go up there to Joe and tell Joe to pay attention to the action. Go over there to Missy and tell Missy she's doing the wrong camera. She's not the A camera, she's the B camera. It was pretty fun and pretty funny. So, New Jersey pool player, are you live streaming pool? How are you doing it? What are you using for your setup? Are you using live cams? Are you using some sort of motion detection? Are you using PTZ cams? Are you using? I bet you're using overhead cams. That's what I'd be doing. Over a camera right over the table, and then with something that would show the players. Okay, Clint says, soccer, just follow the players on kicks, unless you are high end zone camera on field goals or PATs. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Yeah, and the kickoff I was talking about was a soccer kickoff, which is done, of course, from the center of the field. And that's the whole thing. You know, again, kids don't know. They just don't know. They're operating from, it's a zero start game for them unless they played the sport or they watch the sport on ESPN a lot, whatever the sport is. They don't have an idea what it needs to look like. And the director, if there's a director, is the same way. They need to know what they want it to look like, and how can they know what they want it to look like if they don't know what it should look like? And what I see a lot is kids that are interested in the technology and in the live streaming end of it are not necessarily sports kids. You know, they're the kid in my day that was running the AV cart up and down the hall to bring the film projector or the slide projector or the overhead projector into the classroom for the teacher to use. And they understood the technology, but they weren't playing on the football team or the basketball team or the baseball team. They were not sports oriented in that sense. And so I think in some ways, this technology thing follows the same way. I mean, the vMix use follows the same thing, where kids that are enthralled by the software, and I've got one here at the local high school, you know, he's a 14-year-old, and he is tearing up vMix, but he doesn't have a sports background. And so, you know, where he can do lots of great things, he suffers from making it look like what we would expect it to look like if we were watching a live stream. I mean, I use ESPN kind of as the gold standard. You know, what's an ESPN football game look like? You know, what do you expect to see? And I remember in the early days, I get a lot of questions about people that wanted to put cameras on both sides of the field. No, that confuses the poo out of the viewer, because you're trying to tell them a story, and the story keeps switching its orientation, left, right, left. Yeah. And the end zone is the closest I would get to going to the other end of the field. Yeah. Ed says didn't shoot football this year. The school spent $1 million installing a new AstroTurf field 2 years ago. Then they decided to move it so it's still torn up. Oh no. Sorry for the kids. I let the other stream. I do the play-by-play. Smart guy. Smart guy. And of course, are you there in person, or are you watching the stream and commenting on it live from a remote location? That happens a lot more than you'd think. I mean, I'm not just saying with pool, but with all sorts of sports. Ed says they promised to put fiber in the press box to the field, so that will be interesting. From the press box to the field for the coaches to use. I guess you could hook a camera up to it. Interesting. Looking forward to AI cameras. Enable me to get stats. Possibilities are limitless. I agree. And the good thing is, if you're a geek and understand that kind of stuff, you can create a product that you can use for yourself and that other people can use and would be worth selling. Yep. Michael watched NFL and some ESPN this season, and sorry, but it made me take fails on my streams lighter, as they also had fails. Yeah, I guess, I don't know about NFL, but I know a lot of the kind of the mid to low tier ESPN sports are done by third-party streaming companies, not by ESPN crews, because ESPN is always watching the pennies and doesn't want to keep a crew on their own tab. So sometimes you get good and sometimes you get not so good. And announcers too. The play-by-play color guys, not both. Have done both. I like the in-person best, but remote is cost efficient. Absolutely, yeah. And that can make the difference between, doing an outing and not doing it. All right, Clint is a professional, so let's listen to what he has to say. A good director should tell you in advance, before the play or set piece, what is expected of every camera op and what the responsibility is, and what is expected on various results of that play or set piece. Yes. And that's a technical director that understands the sport and the technology. And you got to start learning somewhere. Every one of us started from scratch, and we built on our knowledge. And so it's rough to ask, kids to create this from scratch in their own heads. I will say, and you've probably heard me say it before, we built a studio for an elementary school about a mile from here, and helped them set it up, help train the teachers and the kids end up training the teachers. You know how that goes. And had set it up with very distinct workflows. Camera operator, graphics operator, audio operator, talent. What were some of the other roles? And technical director. And the technical director had a flow of show that basically was all the calls that he or she needed to make for graphics or audio or camera or whatever. And it was there, and it didn't change a whole lot. And so he or she was calling the show, and some of them ended up doing a really, really good job with it. And they were just, kind of naturals in that sense. But not everybody. And some people shied away from it. But it was a path to the grocery store. And the grocery store was always in the same place, and they always started at the same place. A live football game, basketball game, soccer match, obviously different, but there are enough individual spots, as Clint is saying, enough specific spots that are repetitive, like a goal kick or a kickoff, that you can develop this kind of, okay, you've got this responsibility, you've got this one, you've got this one. But the TD is laying it out live every time over intercom. If your sports live stream doesn't have intercom between the TD and the camera operators, audio, graphics, all that kind of stuff, that's tough. That's tough to make it work. Yep. Ed says, no, 5 ground vaults for fiber locations on our sideline cameras. So we can't also cover track or look. So we can't also cover track or lacrosse and homecoming. Did you mean can? Okay, I get it. I get it. So you've got basically got 5 plug-ins that are hardwired around the stadium for sideline cameras. Interesting. So not in the stands. Glad to have you. Join in whenever you can. Yes, can. So the sideline cameras are probably very effective for homecoming and cross and track or lacrosse. Probably lacrosse more like football, but sideline cameras are good too. I bet. Do you do graduation at the football stadium? They do here. And 2 cameras on top of the press box. Yeah, I've been trying to get them to build a press box with a flat roof, and they just don't want to do it. It's a liability. It's a liability thing. You know, we don't want those kids to fall off. Well, you know, do internal stairs and railings. We did a soccer weekend at a venue that had a for sure rooftop camera location. I mean, they even had places to run the cables up through the roof, and put one of those pop-up 10 by 10 tents, strapped it in up there for the weekend so that the camera operators didn't get cooked. That was fun. That tent was heavy to get up and down, but that was good. All right, Clint says, in his humble opinion, a good high school video class would make every student perform every task in production and at least in 1 game a season. I agree. What I find, though, is that in my experience, we'll take high school football, for example, that the live streams for high school football are done by a group of volunteers, a group of volunteers that includes students, a class of students with the teacher as sort of the director. But this middle one seems to be the one I see and hear of the most. That, oh, and the third, well, and the fourth is professionals that are coming in and doing a game from the outside. Ron Wallace, who lives right up the road here, will do a game of the week, and he's all over the place. I'm trying to think of some of the other people that do the same thing. Yeah, for sure. Ed's got pictures. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. But you're here. That's the most important part. But let's come back to this for a second. If you've got volunteer students, or if you're just paying them by pizza, you may have to take what you get. And yeah, but if they're part of a class, now that's a different ballgame. If they're part of a class, yeah, you've got 10 aspects to your grade, and one of them is graphics, and one of them is cameras, and one of them is, you know, halftime interview with the coach, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get that. I like that. I do. All right, so I got to go back to work. I love hanging out with you guys. It's always a treat. I'm always honored that people would show up and and comment and have a part in the show. That's my favorite part. Agreed, Michael. Agreed, Michael. Because if they don't get to do what they like to do, then they just won't show up because it's not part of a grade or they're not being paid for it. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. I'm not even on Eastern time, but I know most people understand Eastern time. Michael, what time is that for you? That's probably 3 o'clock plus 6, so that's 9 o'clock for you. So after a late supper. For those folks on the West Coast in the Pacific time zone in the U.S., 3 minus 3 is 12, so that's noon. So it's the lunch hour on the West Coast. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you, Tim. I will have a great day. And I too am looking forward to the next show. Clint says, what is the price of the camera? Oh, golly. You know, I don't know. Let me look it up. I think it's probably changed since I got this one because of tariffs. But let's just see. Move 4K. 30x, 20x, 12x. It is $1999, $1995, $1985. Yeah, we were kind of flexible with that. Yep. Thank you, Gunnar. Glad you're here. Thank you, Ed. Glad you're here. You guys bring so much to the show. What if we did a call-in show one time? Would y'all call in? You know, I could give you your own vMix call password. You'd have to be set up with, you know, a camera and a microphone and the ability to hear, maybe some lights. Don't sit in front of a window and show us your yard or your landscape view, because it just ends up backlighting you. Michael thought it was a great show. You're easily pleased, my friend. Gunnar would show up. All right, there you go. That's good. I'd show up. That makes 2 of us. Thank you, Jesper. Love having you as always. Let's see. See you, Ed. You guys have a great rest of week and a great weekend. Oh, that would be interesting. That would be interesting to have Clint and Michael and Gunnar all at the same time. We could do something, well, we just talk. We just talk. We'll talk about sports. We'll talk about live streaming. We won't talk about politics as much as I would love to, but that's not a win-win conversation. But I think we could talk about sports and technology and be okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys. And thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll tune in next week, maybe. And stick around for this closing song. It's a good one.
Well, it's the end of the show, the lights are down low. We've had some laughs and now it's time to go. Streaming idiots, delight on display. Hope you enjoyed it. We had fun today. From the very first laugh to the final goodbye, we shared our moments, oh my, oh my. So thank you, it's been a blast. We'll keep the fun rolling, this won't be our last. See you next week, set your reminders. More craziness coming, we're joyful finders. Each Each week we gather with jokes and smiles, from techie mishaps to quirky styles. Every stream is magic, a little surprise. More than just a show, it's all about the ties. We're a family here, part of your feed, chasing the giggles, fulfilling the needs. So thank you, it's been a blast. We'll keep the fun rolling, this won't be our last. See you next week, set your reminders. More craziness coming, we're joyful finders. So grab your popcorn and settle right in. With laughs on the screen, let the fun begin. From the couch or your bed, wherever you be, join us next time, come laugh with glee. We love your comments, your hearts and your cheers. Together we make memories that last through the years. So we wave goodbye, but don't shed a tear. We'll be back next week to bring you more cheer. In this digital age, we're all on a roll, streaming idiots. It's more than a stroll. Just hit that like and don't you forget. Keep spreading the joy, the fun's not done yet. So thank you, it's been a blast. We'll keep the fun rolling, this won't be our last. See you next week, set your reminders. More craziness coming, we're joyful finders. So here's to the laughter, the joy that we share. With every single moment, we'll always be there. As the curtains close and the credits roll. Thanks, guys, for being part of our soul.